Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Lundquist. I'm a local appraiser and I'm privileged to interview local real estate broker Joel Wright in the Sacramento area. How you doing, Joel?
Pleasure.
Well, and today the topic is residential income market, the 2 to 4 unit market in Sacramento, and I was hoping that Joel could give us a little bit of insight into this market. What's happened over the last several years, in this market, and what's going on right now?
You know, the 2 to 4 unit market is absolutely a stellar market to invest in. Couple of notes on that it followed the residential market down, so it took longer for the properties to get priced to where they make sense for cash flow and also for future appreciation. Another factor is that the banks historically have not wanted to short sale for investors, and that has a dramatic effect on being able to purchase as well as sell properties for investors. But for investors who are looking to purchase, if they're getting into a short sale, there may be a good chance that they will not be able to purchase it because the bank may not short sell it. Wachovia is the distinction.
I hear that all the time, yeah.
Yeah, and once again,
yeah.
Wachovia has been great about short selling properties, and all the rest of the banks are not trying to catch up to them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other banks that don't want to short sell, and that affects the prices dramatically. 65% of residential properties right now in March 2011 are on the market as short sales. Now, what would happen if the banks were short selling the duplexes to fourplexes? There'd probably be a lot more properties that'd be on the market, at that.
Very true, yeah, because how many are not on the market right now that would be on the market if there was a better opportunity to really sell them?
Exactly.
So then prices obviously in 2005 were just astronomical for the 2 to 4 income market in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And they came crashing down. You said a little bit after the residential market,
they followed it by income market. They followed it by about a year.
And what's it like in terms of affordability? Generally speaking, and I know that's hard to do, but
it depends on who's trying to afford it.
Yeah, generally speaking, I mean, what's the market like in various places, and what are the opportunities out there in particular areas of Sacramento right now to invest in the 2 to 4 market?
Yeah, there's some great properties, Ryan. The duplexes, from what I've seen, and this is generally over the last year or so, most of the duplexes that are in good areas, usually 2-bedroom, 1-bath, sometimes 3-bedroom, 1-bath, are running right around $180,000 for a duplex. Now, that may or may not cash flow depending on the duplex. Most duplexes with 2-bedroom, 1-bath are running right around $800 a square. $800 to $825 for rents for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, which means they're bringing in about $1,600 a month, $1,650.
Yeah.
But they still cost about $180. Now, I've seen some that get lower than that, and that's working on the fallacious concept of that 1 month's rent equals more or less 1% of the purchase price.
Yeah.
Now, people have used that for a long time as kind of a gauge as to whether you can cash flow or not. Frankly, I think it's a very bad gauge because your expenses are going to be higher than that. So it depends a lot on expenses. If the investor is going to own the property, how much cash they're putting in, so how much they're financing, as well as are they going to take care of the property themselves, or are they going to do the management themselves?
And so that's on the higher end for duplexes, 180?
No, that's actually really kind of in the middle. I mean, those are the ones that kind of make sense, really.
Okay.
Those are in Citrus Heights and the Arden area and some other areas that are good duplexes. You can find duplexes, I think, I looked at a triplex on 1/3 of an acre in North Sacramento yesterday for $36,000.
I was going to say, because I see stuff like that all the time. I know you have your 180 figure, but there's 50,000, and but usually there's a reason why they're selling that low. So,
yeah, absolutely. This one needed a lot of work. 2 separate buildings. I thought it was great at $36,000. You could probably go in and put $30,000 to $40,000 into it and have a great little duplex.
Yeah.
Triplex.
Yeah.
But yeah, in North Sacramento and also in South Sacramento, there are some great properties under $100,000. Back in 2009, 2010, those duplexes were over 100, which they really didn't make sense because they were getting $500, $600 a unit. They can be good. They usually have a lot of deferred maintenance. But you know what I've seen historically, as I was saying, was the kind of the 180 price, and that seemed to be where they held at. And 180, I'm not sure. I mean, it depends on the property, it depends on the area, it depends on the condition, it depends on the tenants, depends on the rents, as to whether it makes sense at 180 or not.
So there's a lot of factors. It's not just the price and then 1%. You really got to consider a lot of different things. Now,
Absolutely.
could you quickly give us the lowdown on fourplexes?
Yeah, I like fourplexes since they're like two duplexes together.
Yeah.
Generally, I really like fourplexes. I lived in one for a while and loved it years ago, and I just actually I was in college, newly married, and you know, it was great. You know, from what my understanding is the vacancy on fourplex is a little bit higher, and so you need to look at it, as I was saying, as kind of two duplexes, which is if you're going to buy one fourplex, you're going to have the issues that come along with a fourplex, which may be a little higher vacancy, you know, people moving in and out more often, and so if you're, let's say, buying a duplex at 180, you want to get the fourplex at least double that or less, because you are going to have more vacancy, you're going to have more repairs, etc.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I just appraised a fourplex not long ago, and I actually appraised it for 180 something in a pretty decent area actually. But yeah, I mean, it definitely had some deferred maintenance.
We'll talk more about that later. Yeah, the fourplexes that really make sense to me are the ones that are right under and over, right around $300,000. I've sold a couple that were, I think I sold one for 196 and another one at about 220. So I'm sorry, depending on the rents, 300,000 or under is really where you want to look. Yeah. In the nicer areas, you're not going to find them under 300,000, but for cash flow, that's what they're going to have to be, is probably 250, right around there.
Well, I mean, that really makes good sense when you look at the market. You know, again, these properties are priced for a reason, you know, at the lowest end, at $36,000 as you mentioned. So
yeah, that one's bank owned.
Yeah, and that too. So.
Yeah, right. Now, one of the things that should be mentioned is that the majority of properties are owner owned, and what that means is, you know, the three different types of sellers. There's conventional, there's short sale, and then there's REOs. And the vast majority of the rental properties, the 2 to 4 units, are owner owned, and then after that is the bank owned, and then after that is short sale. There's hardly any short sales on the market, and the bank owned, yeah, they have to move their product because for them it's a loss. But the owners, they tend to keep their prices higher because they're trying to get all the money they can out of the property. So that does also affect the prices, and it's more than 50%. It's probably about 70% of the properties that are on the market are owner owned. That is conventional sellers.
That makes sense with the backdrop you presented. Well, if someone has a question about the residential income market, how can they contact you?
Best number to reach me at is the office number at 916-726-8308, or contact me online. You can go to my website at wrightrealestate.us, WRIGHT, real estate spelled out, .us.
Great.
That's all my contact information there.
Well, hey, thanks so much.
Appreciate
it. And thanks everyone for watching. And make sure to contact Joel if you have any questions.
Have a great day.